Maybe I should have killed 400 or 500 people, then I would have felt better. Then when I felt like I really offered society something.
What do you think it would be like to sit in the same room with a maniac? How would you feel listening to his stories? Thanks to the interviews with dangerous criminals, which in this video we have collected especially for you, you will be able to immerse yourself in a terrifying atmosphere. Look into the eyes of real psychopaths and find out what goes on in their heads when they commit such terrible crimes. Richard Ramirez became one of America's biggest nightmares in the 1980s. This young model-looking man committed horrific crimes. He murdered and raped everyone from 6-year-old little girls to 83-year-old women. He was a Satanist and often left messages in the form of a pentagram, but to himself he spoke as follows.
Who are you?
Just a guy.
In total, Richard Ramirez attacked people 10 times and killed 13 people. And yet, after a long period of time, the police were able to get on his trail. When the police realized who was behind the series of horrible murders, they placed a picture of the criminal in the local newspapers. It took only a few hours for angry residents to find and capture Richard Ramirez, beating him badly in the process. This interview is very difficult to watch, as the perpetrator completely denied the accusations of the crimes committed. In addition, he assures the presenter that all serial maniacs are just the product of the times.
Did you kill 13 people?
It would be improper for me to comment on my LA convictions and on my pending case here in San Francisco.
Why?
Because of my appeals.
Are you appealing these because you say you're innocent? You didn't kill 13 people?
That is correct.
You didn't kill 13 people?
Again, it would be improper for me to comment in any regard to that question.
You have now entered a very rare group of people in this country. You're in the ranks of Charlie Manson, Ted Bundy. You claim you didn't commit these murders, but you're right in there now as far as everybody else is concerned.
Serial killers do on a small scale what governments do on a large one. They are a product of the times, and these are bloodthirsty times. Even psychopaths have emotions if you dig deep enough, but then again, maybe they don't.
Do you have emotions, Richard?
No comment.
What do you think you should do in a situation where you can't have children? Many people will answer that a great option would be to adopt a child, but this is not always going to be the best way. Beth Thomas' adoptive parents had a lot of regrets when they adopted her, and here is why.
Who's afraid of you, Beth?
John.
Your brother. And what is your brother, why is your brother afraid of you?
Because I hurt him so much.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And what, at nighttime, what do your parents do to your door?
Lock it shut.
Why do they lock it shut?
Because they don't want me to hurt John.
Right. And they're kind of afraid of hurting John? Of you hurting John?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are they afraid that you might hurt them?
This sweet-looking 6-year-old girl had been subjected to horrible things as a child. Her biological father raped her. Because of these horrors in her life, already at such an early stage, she began to develop sadistic tendencies. The girl began to say often that she wanted to kill her parents and brother.
Would you, Beth?
Mm-hmm.
When would you do it?
Nighttime.
Okay. Why would you do nighttime?
Because I don't like them seeing me do it. But they can feel me do it.
Mm-hmm. And what would you do to him, Beth?
Stab them.
Okay. What would you stab him with?
A knife.
Do you ever stick pins in people?
Mm-hmm.
Who?
My brother.
Okay. Do you do it a little bit or a lot?
A lot.
Okay. And what are you trying to do to your brother?
Kill him.
Why do you want your brother to die?
Because I was hurt so bad, and I don't want to be around people.
It seems that almost all serial maniacs and killers have one thing in common: psychological trauma. While Beth Thomas was traumatized at a very early age by her father, our next character, Richard Kuklinski, spent his entire childhood in a simply horrible family. His mother went crazy on religion and constantly beat the kids, and his father was an alcoholic who would beat him to a pulp. And this is not just a boss phrase. One of his sons at the age of 8 years old just died after manhandling his beloved father, who by the way didn't even go to jail for such a thing. And his younger brother went to prison for the rape and murder of a 12-year-old girl. And how do you think a normal person can grow up in such a family?
I was a person who was able to hurt somebody at any given time with no remorse. And who could do it over and over again without it bothering them.
Did you think of yourself as an assassin?
Assassin. Sounds so exotic. I was just a murderer.
Richard Kuklinski was accused of killing between 100 and 250 people when he worked for the mafia. He was a hitman, but not a normal one. Because of such a difficult childhood, Richard got a real pleasure from killing, and according to his stories, committed crimes even on his day off. It was not uncommon for him to describe in vivid color how he committed his murders.
And I got on this thing and I'm doing this like dancing bit. And I get onto this thing and they got these lights. And I hate those lights, by the way, those strobe lights. Man, I hate those lights. You can't see good with them lights. And it messes up my eyes. So anyway, I'm trying to get close to this guy. So I'm doing this crazy thing. I get up close to this guy. And I bump into him. But everybody's bumping into everybody. And he had a heart attack.
There are times when criminals commit murders not because they just felt like it or out of spite. It's simply because they have a very strong attachment to their victims. Jeffrey Dahmer is one of those maniacs.
I had these obsessive desires and thoughts wanting to control them, to, I don't know how to put it, possess them permanently.
And that's why you killed them?
Right, right. Not because I was angry with them, not because I hated them, but because I wanted to keep them with me. And as my obsession grew, I was saving body parts such as skulls and skeletons.
An unremarkable chocolate factory worker committed 17 murders. Among the victims were young men who were seduced by Jeffrey Dahmer. As he himself said in interviews, he seduced almost all of them and even tasted some of them.
It's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. When you depersonalize another person and view them as just an object for pleasure instead of a living, breathing human being, it seems to make it easier to do things you shouldn't do.
This is how the horrible maniac and cannibal Jeffrey Dahmer expressed himself about his victims. He was able to escape justice for as long as 10 years after beginning his crime spree.
The first killing was not planned. I was coming back from the shopping mall back in '78. I had had fantasies about picking up a hitchhiker and taking him back to the house and having complete control and dominance over him.
This was the very first crime of a future serial killer. The passenger was an 18-year-old young man. Jeffrey Dahmer brought him to his parents' house, where he strangled him and then dismembered him. He hid the corpse in a sewer pipe. The police learned about this crime only after the testimony of the maniac himself. In addition, Jeffrey Dahmer told how and where he looked for his victims.
Frequenting the gay bars, and then one time I brought this young man back to the hotel room, the Ambassador Hotel. Was just planning on drugging him and spending the night with him. I had no intention of hurting him. When I woke up in the morning, he had a broken rib here, was heavily bruised. Apparently I had beaten him to death with my fists.
And you have no memory
I
of it?
have no memory of it. But that's what started the whole spree all over again.
And sometimes what happens is that you meet a very nice person, You like to talk to him, he gains your trust, but then it turns out that this person is not who they say they are. That's exactly what Ted Bundy was. This young man easily seduced girls with his beautiful smile and charisma. And the most dangerous thing you could do would be to trust this man. After all, Ted Bundy became one of America's most charming maniacs, committing 30 murders, and who even after his capture denied his crimes.
Sure, I get angry. I get very, very angry and indignant. I don't like being locked up for something I didn't do, and I don't like my liberty taken away, and I don't like being treated like an animal, and I don't like people walking around and ogling me like I'm some sort of weirdo, because I'm not. You know, I'm perfectly happy with the person I am, and I've always been. Ever physically harmed anyone? No. No. You know, again, not in the context, I think, that you're speaking of.
It is terribly difficult to listen to Ted Bundy deny his involvement in the murders and sympathize with the families of the victims. He tried to self-defense and believed his sentence would never take effect.
I think I stand about as much chance of dying in front of a firing squad or in a gas chamber as you do being killed on a plane flight home. Let's hope you don't. But
so you don't lie awake at night thinking about it?
Not a moment. Honest to God, not a moment.
But the most brutal serial killer is considered to be Charles Manson. Several documentaries have been made about his crimes and his sect, and in the collective consciousness of his name lives for decades. All because even in the 21st century, in movies and TV series recall those very horrible crimes of Charles Manson and the sect family, which was created by him.
You scared to die?
Sometimes I feel I'm scared to live. Living is what scares me. Dying is easy. How long have I been in jail? 34 years? 34 years, so...
Out of 47, you've been here 34.
I've been in jail, prison, a long time, all my life. I was raised up in here. So I understand jail. So I understand myself, and I can deal with that. I sit in my cell, and I do my number, like a convict does his number. But there's different colors on different people's backs doing different things. It's a different world. I love the world I live in, too, just like Regan loves the world he lives in.
You love the world you live in.
Most assuredly, it's me.
You love all the pain that you've caused people, all the anguish you've caused.
Oh, I don't know pain. I don't know pain. I have no depth of pain. I have no depth of suffering. I don't know ridicule. I don't know all the bad things. I haven't been punished by you all my life since I was 10 years old. I've been in every reform school you got across the country and used to lay down and have to get my ass whipped till I couldn't walk. Tell me about some pain.
And that's our fault. That's all those people
No
want.
fault. Make strong, good pain. Understand pain. Not bad. Pain's not bad. It's good.
Even Charles Manson himself highlights his horrific childhood years. It was because of his horrible treatment as a child that he grew up to be a murderer. But why is he considered America's most feared maniac? Probably because of the mass murders he ordered. So the family killed the famous actress Sharon Tate, 9 months pregnant, and along with her several other people. In total, the maniac and his sect killed 35 people. But even with irrefutable evidence, Charles Manson continues to deny his involvement in the murders.
If you got out of here, there are a lot of people who think you'd go start killing people again.
Again? Mm-hmm. Well, you guys are misinformed. I haven't killed anyone. I didn't break the law. Judge knew that. But the people didn't want to hear it. The judge knew it. He washed his hands. He said, I know it, but what can I do? People want this.
The judge never said that.
Yeah.
Judge never said
That's what Older said.
No, judge didn't say that.
He got off and shook their hands, didn't he? You're so white and pure.
Judge didn't say you were innocent.
Are you innocent?
Innocent of what?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
None of us are innocent.
Yeah, just because you're convicted in a courtroom doesn't mean you're guilty of something.
What does mean you're guilty?
When you know you're guilty.
What about Shay?
What about him?
Well, what about him?
He got killed.
Well, the word is you killed him.
Word is that you're an old woman. Word is you have turkey in the sky. Word is, I don't know what word is. Somebody else tell you that. I didn't tell you that.
Did you kill Shay?
Hell no.
Did you cut Hinman's ear off?
Hell yes.
These were the most horrifying interviews with serial maniacs ever. Thanks for watching.